I'm Catherine Dow. It is July 9th. Today, pilot identified. We now know the name of one of the student pilots killed in a mid-air collision near Steinbach. Also today, protecting evacuees.
That's what our job is to support them.
Police get a tip that drug dealers are targeting wildfire evacuees, what they did about it. And Deadpool to the rescue.
I think he's an incredible example of Canadian grit and determination.
Why actor Reynolds is throwing some star power behind a Winnipeg cause. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Marilee is away. A Northern First Nation is preemptively planning to evacuate some of its members as Manitoba's wildfire situation intensifies. CTV's John Hendricks joins us now live with the latest. So, John, which community are we talking about, and is this a full evacuation?
Catherine, the Scituate Cree Nation announced late Tuesday it has approved an evacuation order for Priority 1 members. The community is located at Nelson House, some 60 kilometers west of Thompson. There's a fire burning roughly 20 kilometers to the north. According to NCN officials, Priority 1 includes people who frequently need hospital or nursing care, those undergoing dialysis, living with terminal illnesses, heart conditions, or chronic respiratory issues. Children with complex medical needs and those with high-risk pregnancies are also being urged to evacuate. NCN is reminding evacuees to bring a go bag with medications, ID, and proof of residency. Now, for those of you who are unsure, you can call the nursing station at the number on your screen to confirm your status.
Now, John, speaking of Thompson, the city declared a state of local emergency earlier this week, and there was talk of a potential evacuation. So what's the latest there?
It's a real mixed bag, Catherine. The city said last night that bulldozer lines along the north and south sides of Provincial Road 280 are completed. Scheduled burns and vegetation clearing are also underway to protect high-value assets like hydro substations and fuel depots. But at the same time, the city is asking residents to complete a registration form in case an evacuation happens. You can find the form at thompson.ca, and city staff will be handing out physical copies for those without internet.
All right, thanks for this, John. Meanwhile, HealthLinks has opened up a new line for those impacted by wildfires. The agency says you can call either of the numbers on your screen and press 1 for help finding your loved ones if they have been relocated from a hospital or personal care home. Evacuees can also speak with a nurse about healthcare concerns and learn about services offered in their area. Meanwhile, Winnipeg police have arrested and charged 2 men with selling drugs to wildfire evacuees. Police received tips that drug dealers were doing business on the 1700 block of Wellington Avenue. Officers began an investigation and say they witnessed several drug transactions in the area. That led police to pull over a car Sunday night and arrest the 18-year-old driver. Investigators allegedly found more than $800 in cash and 3 grams of cocaine. The Winnipeg Police Service says it's dedicated officers to support and protect fire evacuees staying in the city.
We obviously take this very seriously. As I stated before, we want to make sure that everyone is safe, that they all feel welcome in the city. And as police, that's what our job is to support them, make sure that they are feel welcome while they're here and that they're all looked after.
Police also arrested a 21-year-old man who they say was a passenger in the car during the alleged drug transactions. The 2 are charged with drug trafficking and possessing the proceeds of crime. And police are asking anyone who sees suspicious activity to call them at 204-986-6222. We now know the identity of one of the pilots killed in a mid-air collision yesterday near Steinbach. The Consulate General of India in Toronto says Sharahi Sukash was from India and practicing to be a pilot in Manitoba. In a post on X, the Consulate General says, quote, "With profound sorrow, we mourn the tragic passing of Mr. Srihari Sukash, a young Indian student pilot. We extend our deepest condolences to his family. The consulate is in contact with the bereaved family. 2 student pilots died when their planes collided just south of the runway at Harv's Air, a flight school. Harv's Air owner Adam Penner told CTV News the pilots were practicing routine takeoffs and landings at the time of the collision. The Transportation Safety Board is investigating the crash. CTV's Jeff Keel will have more on this story, and that's coming up on CTV News tonight at 6. A warning tonight about a high-risk sex offender who's been released from prison and considered a high risk to reoffend. 34-year-old Richard Kofi Asante was convicted of sexual assault in 2023. He served his sentence and was released from an Edmonton prison today. The Manitoba Integrated High-Risk Sex Offender Unit says it expects Asante to live in Winnipeg. They say he did not complete sexual offender treatment and is considered a high risk to reoffend against adult females. Authorities say any form of vigilantism will not be tolerated. A man in his 80s has died after the SUV he was driving rolled over inside a Winnipeg parking garage. Police say it happened Tuesday night in the first 100 block of Paget Street. That's in Linden Woods. Investigators believe he suffered a medical event which led to the rollover. His passenger, a woman in her 80s, was brought to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The province will rework its plan to improve the intersection near Carberry, where a bus crash killed 17 people 2 years ago. Community members voiced their concerns at a meeting in Carberry in June. More than 2,100 people signed a petition against the plan to turn the intersection into a restricted crossing U-turn known as an R-cut. An R-cut forces drivers to turn right, cut across traffic, and perform a U-turn. A provincial spokesperson says they're listening to community concerns and will go back to design and consultation work. The mayor of Carberry says residents would prefer an overpass. A group that provides support for women and gender diverse Winnipeggers is having to end some of its services due to a drop in funding.
We're forced into a position now without funding from the city or the province to wind down our critical outreach services.
In April, the West Central Women's Resource Centre learned it would have to seek funding from the city for its outreach programs instead of the province. But instead of receiving help for 3 teams like the city provided last year, only 1 team was selected to provide 24/7 services. WCWRC says it couldn't provide that, and so Main Street Project was awarded funding to provide outreach for the whole city.
I do understand the intent. I think what we need to recognize is that the needs in community are very high, and expecting 1 outreach team to provide service across a city the size of Winnipeg is an enormous task.
WCWRC says it's exploring other options, but says without government or other funding, it can't keep its van on the road and will be looking at other ways to support the community. The ongoing dispute continues to play out over who is the rightful owner of a multi-million-dollar winning lottery ticket. In court documents, Lawrence Campbell says not only was the lotto ticket not a birthday gift for his former partner, Crystal McKay, but she had no history of expecting or receiving birthday gifts from him. Campbell also maintains the two were still in a relationship at the time, contradicting McKay's suggestion she had actually ended their relationship a month before the win. As we've previously reported, Campbell is suing McKay for the $5 million prize, saying the ticket was his, but he was told by the lottery company to allow McKay to claim the winnings as he did not have valid ID or a bank account at the time. McKay claims he gave her the ticket as a birthday gift. CTV's Daniel Halmerson joins us now with the first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. Today called for an extra round of a hairspray, Danny. Quite gusty out there.
Fortunately, I don't have that problem, Catherine, but yeah, gusting winds here in Winnipeg and throughout Manitoba today, but very hot as well. We're still seeing some air quality warnings up in the Thompson area, as we've seen since Monday. Now, down in the southeast, yesterday, if you recall, the air quality warning was issued, including areas like Lac Bonnie, but those southerly winds pushing up that wildfire smoke. And as I've been tracking throughout the day, the warning has just shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. Now, taking a look over the rest of the province, I'm going to move to this side for a second. Just over the border in Saskatchewan, that yellow there is a severe thunderstorm watch. We'll keep an eye on that as we move through the evening. In the pink you see down in Saskatchewan as well as over the border in Ontario. That's extreme heat warnings. I'll tell you when we could expect to see those here in Manitoba. Taking a look outside right now, though, 29 under mainly clear skies, feeling 33 with the humidex. The wind out of the south, gusting at up to 40, gusting up to 54 kilometers per hour. The pressure's dropping and the humidity sitting at 48%.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
And a look out at Confusion Corner. Traffic moving well there. Nothing to report at this moment, Catherine.
I'm really proud to know Scott Oak. I think he's an incredible example of Canadian grit.
Why Canadian actor Ryan Reynolds is getting behind a Winnipeg addictions treatment facility.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
NVIDIA has become the most valuable company in history. It is the first to be valued at more than $4 trillion, hitting that mark during the course of the trading day. The tech company's stock is up 22% this year. Its chips are vital to the rollout of artificial intelligence. The previous record was held by Apple, which soared to $3.9 billion in market cap in December of 2024. Here's how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar dropped slightly to 73.03. West Texas Intermediate also had a small dip to 68.60. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it up 54 cents to 56.30. And the TSX is up 68 points today, ending the day at 26,972. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
A giant in the world of agriculture equipment and a hometown success story has died. Mazer Group says its president and CEO, Bob Mazer, has died. The company says Mazer joined his father's ag equipment dealership in Brandon in 1969. He went on to form Mazer Group, which expanded to 18 locations across Manitoba and Saskatchewan. Mazer was inducted into the Farm Equipment Dealership Hall of Fame just this year and had been named Brandon's Business Person of the Year in 1998. Mazer Group says he passed away Sunday after a battle with cancer. Canadian movie star Ryan Reynolds is throwing his support behind a cause close to the hearts of Winnipeggers.
The Bruce Oak Recovery Center has been saving men's lives for more than 4 years, and soon enough, the Ann Oak Family Recovery Center will do the same thing for women who can have their children with them as they find their way back to health. I'm really proud to know Scott Oak. I think he's an incredible example of Canadian grit and determination in moving through grief in a way that has a positive outcome for other people.
The Ann Oak Family Recovery Center, referenced by Reynolds, is planned for a site on Snow Street at Dartmouth Drive behind the Victoria General Hospital. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have named a 17th player to their Ring of Honor.
Tyrone Jones, the leading candidate for the Shenley Award, is Outstanding Defensive Player, and no doubt he'd get some votes from the CFL quarterbacks he's laid flat on their backs.
Tyrone Jones had a knack for quarterback sacks. In fact, he has the most sacks in Bombers history with 98. Jones played for the Bombers from 1983 until 1991, and he was a key player in the Bombers' Grey Cup wins in '84 and 1990. Jones was diagnosed with inoperable brain cancer and died in 2008 at the age of 46. Jones will be honored in a ceremony at the Banjo Bowl against the Saskatchewan Roughriders on September 6th. The Ring of Honor celebrates players and people that helped build the team. It's time to announce the winners of the Tri-Hospital Dream Lottery. That's coming up after the break. And why was Winnipeg and a Winnipeg politician mentioned on a recent episode of Jeopardy? The question and the answer is coming up in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Night Ranger.
Daniel Homerson has her spotlight today. So Daniel, the answer is a Winnipeg mayor named on an American quiz show.
Catherine, who is Scott Gillingham?
That's correct, for 400.
Right on, Catherine. Winnipeg got another shout out, this time on Jeopardy. Take a look.
In Canada, his or her worship is for people with this government job, like Scott Gillingham of Winnipeg and Surrey, BC's Brenda Locke. Scott.
What is MP?
No, I'm sorry.
Now, none of them got it right, but our city's mayor, Scott Gillingham, was an answer on Jeopardy. The contestants had to guess what his job was based on the honorific, his worship. And as I already mentioned, none of them got it, but that didn't bother Mayor Gillingham. He tweeted on social media that it was a fun surprise to be featured in a clue on Jeopardy.
I feel like you've made it win, so I'd be excited too. All right, the 50th Winnipeg Folk Festival kicks off at Birds Hill Park tomorrow.
But first, the rush is on to get the best campsite.
We got here about 1:30 a.m.
Folkfesters started lining up overnight for a prime spot, and people rushed in once gates opened this morning. 76,000 people are expected to attend the festival this year, its 50th anniversary. Now, Folkfest started in 1974 and was billed as a free Bruce Cockburn concert. He's back this year along with over 75 artists from around the world, playing on 9 stages over the 4 days.
We also have some special things. We have a photo display that kind of puts on our history. We have some videos where folks are telling their favorite memories from Folk Festival. And generally, we're just being together, which is what Folkfesters like to do.
Folkfest starts tomorrow evening with the one and only Fred Penner and wraps up Sunday with Lake Street Dive. Tickets and a limited number of camping passes are available through the Folkfest website.
And a Winnipeg landmark is marking a major milestone this weekend.
That's right, Catherine. Grant's Old Mill is turning 50. Grant's Old Mill is a replica flour mill that has stood on Portage Avenue near Sturgeon Road since 1975. It's become a historical museum where you can learn firsthand how flour is made. This Saturday, there's a 50th anniversary celebration honoring Métis and Scottish heritage. There's a pancake breakfast, live music, jiggers, fiddlers, pipers, and singers. Admission is free.
Sounds like fun. And exciting news, Daniel. We can now officially announce the winners of the Tri-Hospital Dream Lottery.
You bet. The lottery and 50/50 draw help support St. Boniface Hospital, Health Sciences Center, and Children's Hospital Foundation of Manitoba. And a big congratulations to grand prize winner Rick Watts of Swan River, ticket number 7042389. Rick gets to pick one of 6 grand prize options, which includes luxury homes or $1.25 million in cash. And also congratulations to 50/50 Plus winner Rhonda Friesen of Kleefeld, ticket number 1157517. Rhonda is taking home more than $680,000 in cash.
Congratulations are in order.
Yeah, right on.
All right, thanks for this, Daniel.
And you can beat those midweek blues with MasterChef at 7, followed by Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service, and Battle of the Generations wraps up the night at 9. It's all right here on CTV.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Well, it's been a hot and windy day here in Winnipeg and much of the province as well. We have a myriad of different weather alerts on this screen there. The orange, of course, air quality statements, the purple, air quality warnings, the pink, extreme heat over the border, and that yellow and now red is severe warnings for thunderstorms just over the border in Saskatchewan near Flin Flon. Today, or tonight rather, relatively clear here in the south, you can see those storms developing, though, in the northwest, the whole north under the risk of thunderstorms tonight. Now, if you're heading to the stadium for Rock and Thunder, it's looking pretty good so far. However, those storms could rain a little bit overnight here in Winnipeg and a bit of the south. Thursday, tomorrow, of course, country thunder happening at the stadium. More chance of some rain and a risk of thunderstorms. Moving into Friday, you can see just over the border in Saskatchewan, a lot of activity there, but clearing for the most part as we head through closer to the weekend. Here in Winnipeg tonight, hazy skies, low of 20, winds out of the south at 30 kilometers. Tomorrow, high of 32. There is a risk of thunderstorms, as I mentioned, late in the afternoon, those winds kicking around as well. And our long-range forecast for those folks heading out to Folk Fest. Mix of sun and cloud Friday, mainly sunny and getting hotter as we hit Sunday before it cooling off to start the next work week. Our first weather pick of the day is from Ben out in Stonewall of a hazy sunset last night. And our second pick of the day is from Melinda. That's her dog Annie by some daisies out in Flin Flon. Keep those weather picks coming. You can send them to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Daniel. Her name is Tripod, and the northern Manitoba polar bear is beating the odds. So why does this bear have such a strange name? We'll take a look. Tripod has 3 legs, so she's pretty easy to spot. She was first seen in 2021 by a tourism operator company called Churchill Wild. No one expected Tripod to survive for very long, but just recently, Tripod was spotted again, and this time with a cub. Look at that. Tripod and her baby look healthy and happy despite the challenges of northern life. Every July, polar bears come off the ice of Hudson Bay. They can't get back out until December to hunt seals. But mother polar bears often travel around 100 kilometers inland to make a den, and they have to go much longer without food.
Now they've gone, 9 months without eating, plus the demands of nursing. It just seems nearly impossible that any bear can do it. Never mind one that's missing a pretty key feature in life.
Churchill Wild CEO Adam Paul says Tripod's survival gives hope for Manitoba's polar bear population. Paul says most likely Tripod lost her leg by getting it caught between 2 big pieces of ice. Poor Tripod.
Aww.
She's making it work there. All
what
right.
a cool story.
I know, right? All right, that's going to do it for us. CTV National's Sandy Ronaldo starts now. We'll see you back here for CTV News at 6.